movie begins with a truly terrifying, or rather sorrowful, piece of music. But after a while, it shifts to cheerful music, showing a group of high school students excited about their school trip, playfully having a pillow fight. Among them was a calm-natured boy who enjoyed passing his time writing poetry. The others found him strange, simply because he preferred to stay within himself rather than mingle with them. So they would try to tease him. But everyone was so excited about their trip that no one had any idea what was about to happen. When that boy bent down to pick up his fallen pen, the bus in front of them suddenly became the victim of a horrific accident, splitting in two. Before they could even react, the same terrifying invisible force struck them one by one. Fortunately, the girlfriend survived. She was in complete shock, naturally so, because she could not understand at all what had actually happened. She didn't even have time to comprehend what had happened, because the same deadly wind was slicing through everything around her, heading straight toward her. She tried to warn her friends as she ran, but in the end, they met the same fate. Barely surviving, she fled into the dense jungle. But even there, the terrifying living wind was wreaking havoc. She wiped herself off a little, and trembling in fear, began walking in search of help, but saw no one around. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, she saw her school ahead. Even stranger, she spotted her childhood friend Aki there, even though their schools were completely different. She tried to warn Aki about the coded live, the invisible deadly force. But Aki reacted oddly normal, as if nothing were happening. The girl thought, maybe Aki had amnesia, or perhaps he was having a bad dream. Gradually, no one began to take her seriously. At this point, it becomes clear from Aki and the girl's closeness that both are lesbians and have liked each other since childhood. But in Japanese culture, such topics are still treated like taboos, so their classmates never stop teasing them. Aki, however, doesn't care about any of that. He openly acknowledges their relationship. Only Tiku and Surya, their closest friends, truly understand their relationship. Seeing Aki's behavior, Tiku feels that Aki's health might not be well, but Aki insists he's perfectly fine and whimsically says that he has been reborn. Hearing this, Tiku says he wishes he could experience rebirth too. Everyone was still tense, so they decide to skip class. They rush out of the classroom with such joy as if they've suddenly been freed. The sight of their happiness is something to behold. A little later, Aki shares the same strange dreamlike experience with the others. At that point, Sue responds that what Aki saw might really have happened, because according to her, there are many multiple universes, where mirror versions of themselves exist in other universes. Their future is already designed in advance, and it can only be changed if they do something completely unexpected and not predetermined. For example, Sue tells everyone to look in one direction, and at that moment, a huge crocodile attacks Tiku. Later, it turns out that this was just Suru's imagination. The point is, your unexpected actions determine your fate. In this case, Tiku wasn't supposed to die because Surya hadn't imagined anything strange or unprepared. Even we, as the audience, are surprised when suddenly, in the middle of the jungle, a blanket-covered pillow appears. But everyone is so immersed in joy that they start playing with it. As they play, someone's finger starts bleeding. But in the end, that too is revealed to be imagined. Sue gives another example using a feather. Until it falls to the ground, its exact landing spot is already predetermined. Afterward, they all return to school. But strangely, a pillow appears again. Aki playfully throws it, and suddenly their teacher brutally starts shooting at everyone, simply because they skipped class. But it's not just that. Other teachers also begin killing students as if they were mad. Tai bravely tries to fight the teachers, but he is mercilessly killed. Sue tries to save everyone, but in the end, she also dies. Before dying, she leaves a piece of advice. This life is full of lies, but somehow it will not defeat you. The girlfriend, Mitsuko, runs to save herself along with the others. Watching how the teachers hunt the students, it feels as if they are playing PUBG. As she runs, she forces herself to think, why is all of this happening? What is the reason behind it? Because this was the only way to stop everything. But before she could even think further, the same deadly living wind tore her classmates apart, and this time the force turned toward Mitsuko. Terrified, she ran desperately, with no one around to help her. Fortunately, she reached a busy, crowded city and sought help from an officer. And again, something strange happened, as if the deadly wind suddenly became normal. The most astonishing part was that the officer recognized her as Keiko. When Mitsuko looked at her own reflection in a mirror, her face had completely changed. She now appeared to be a young woman of about 25. According to the officer, they were close friends, and today was Mitsuko's wedding day. Mitsuko thought perhaps the officer was joking with her, or behaving this way for some unknown reason. So the officer led her straight toward the chapel. Mitsuko became even more confused. because on the way and upon reaching the chapel, everyone was acting strangely excited about her wedding, as if the whole city already knew today was her wedding day. In the dressing room, by some miraculous coincidence, she saw Aki, which brought her a little comfort. She asked him, "Really, what's happening? Why is everyone acting this way?" Aki explained that she, Mitsuko, and Keiko were actually the same person, but he couldn't tell the whole story yet, because they were watching. But who is Aki really? Through them, the climax will unfold. But for now, Mitsuko must do as she's told. Aki prepares her for the wedding ritual. Then, almost like a puppeteer, Aki begins ruthlessly killing each of the women one by one. Mitsuko holds a sharp piece of glass and moves toward the chapel. Everyone welcomes her with applause and flowers. But nothing in her life is happening normally anymore. Those who had just welcomed her suddenly begin insulting her and start removing their clothes. The most horrifying part, there is no groom. Instead, from inside a coffin, a grotesque pig-like creature possessing a human body emerges. Everyone is forced to kiss the pig to complete the wedding ritual. This time, Mitsuko's rage reaches its limit. She first mercilessly slashes the pig's throat and then unleashes her fury on the others. Yet danger still looms overhead. Suddenly, the teachers who had caused chaos at the school return to hunt them again. Somehow, the two manage to escape, but one pursuer is still on their trail. Ignoring her own safety, Aki forces Mitsuko to run, drawing the enemy toward himself. Mitsuko grows exhausted from running but does not stop. Then another strange phenomenon occurs. Suddenly, it feels as if she has entered another universe. People call her by a different name. Her entire outfit changes. Now she is wearing a runner's uniform, ready for a marathon. During the race, the imagined versions of Kiyako and her close friends cheer her on. They remind her of how talented a runner she has been since childhood, and that today she must achieve her goal at any cost. Naturally, her joy doesn't last long, because the same group of teachers and the terrifying pigman are chasing her again. In her imagination, Aki reminds her once more, "You have to get out of this world. It's entirely under your control." Fortunately, Aki appears and quickly tells her to run in another direction. But at the end of the race, Mitsuko again finds herself in a desolate place. There, several zombie-like fighter girls block her path. One of them tells her, as long as they are alive, they will keep dying here over and over again. They force Mitsuko to remember something and try to take her life. But just then, Aki appears again and saves her. Aki tells her to confidently repeat her own name. Mitsuko doesn't understand at first, but when she finally shouts her name aloud, she transforms from her previous Mitsuko self into someone like Keiko. From this point, the full climax of the story begins. It is revealed that they are all trapped in an artificial, fabricated world. Someone has imprisoned them here, and the lead character of this world is Mitsuko herself. The power to destroy this world is also in her hands. If she doesn't do it, the entire cycle, the death, rebirth, and madness, will continue endlessly. There is only one way to escape: tear apart the cables attached to her. Mitsuko becomes terrified. She can't comprehend what to do, but under Aki's insistence, she slowly begins pulling at the cables. The scene is brutally, unbearably painful. The cables tear through her body, and finally her body is ripped into two pieces. At that moment, Mitsuko sees a door bathed in intense light. She follows the path of the cables and enters a strange world, where only men are walking around in underwear. There, she sees a video game advertisement, its poster featuring the faces of every character she has encountered on her journey. Suddenly, a stranger recognizes her and reveals that she has come to the future. The shocking truth: the old man had been waiting for 150 years and revealed that he was the designer of the entire game. After Mitsuko and her friends died, he used their DNA to create this hyper-realistic life game for his own entertainment. At that moment, the young version of the old man appears. He shows Mitsuko a chair and says, "This is your destiny." Mitsuko is completely frozen. But then she remembers what Sue had said: to change your future, you must do something that no one could ever imagine. She recalls the moment when she first saw blood on her finger. This time, a feather falls precisely on that blood, and suddenly countless red feathers begin to float into the air. This sight gives her an important realization. She unleashes all her rage on the pillow man and the old man, killing them both mercilessly. She screams, "You are not human! Stop playing this game with us!" In the end, consumed by utter despair, Mitsuko uses the staff held by the old man to kill herself. Her mind drifts back to the past events with her friends. The movie ends with Mitsuko running across a snow-covered plain, and that is where the film concludes.